Good evening, Crimson Tide Nation, and welcome to the 74th edition of the Alabama Crimson Tide Live call-in show as Jeffrey and I take your calls on the Crimson Tide, all right here on Alabama with the Voice of College Football. And let me tell you something, folks, you're going to be in for a wild ride and a good time for a long time, all right here, as we're getting closer to spring ball. It's spring ball time, ladies and gentlemen. And it's going to be a fun one as the 74th edition of the call-in show is presented by FanDuel, where you can get top-notch odds in the world of college basketball, men's and women's, some early odds on Major League Baseball for the season starting up in a few weeks. And what do we have here? Oh, no, Michigan's not beating the odds tonight unless they are. We'll wait and see. The conference tournaments have already gotten a head start in college basketball. They've got the bad conferences, but that's okay because they've got the mid-major conferences all starting up, ready to rock and roll all right here. And you've got NBA odds for tonight and tomorrow. Here's a good one. Clippers and Spurs. The Spurs is an 8-point favorite, and the Clippers is an 8-point underdog. I think I'll go with the Clippers to beat the spread on that one. And as for the Suns and Pelicans, it feels like 6 points is too high too low for the Suns. So I think the Suns will win that one against the Pelicans in that one. But we'll go ahead and take a look at the Major League Baseball odds for World Series odds. Let's go ahead and take a look. Once again, the Mariners, the Mets, the Phillies are all ahead of everybody. The Braves are below everyone, like the Orioles, the Cubs, the Blue Jays, Red Sox, Phillies, Mets, Mariners, Yankees, Dodgers. I mean, of course, the Dodgers and Yankees rule the odds. But I'll tell you right now, I'll kind of take my chance with the Braves on the NL East on that one. But, we can wait and see. And let's see. Oh, yeah, they're below the Mets, Phillies. Yeah, I'll take my chances. So there we go. But we got a fun one all right here. And we've got Ken the Bama fan coming in the chat, giving out a Roll Tide. We give out a Roll Tide right back. Godfather of the SEC is back in the chat, giving out a hello, everyone, and throwing the number one foam finger and got the Voice College Football Bama logo all right there. We appreciate everybody, as always, coming in all right here. And the call-in link is right here if anybody wants to give us a call. So we've got it all right there. But, I was really thinking about spring ball. And, Jeffrey, how are you feeling about the QB situation at the moment between Mac and Russell? Because I know Coach DeBoer was saying, he kind of gave that hint of the deadline that he would like for it to be figured out a few weeks before the season, which, I think that's going to get figured out by then. But how are you feeling about it at the moment?
Well, it's so early. It's only March 5th right now. I haven't even gotten to spring ball. And I think a lot of people are kind of 50-50 on I guess, their opinion of who it's going to be because no one really knows at this point. I think the experience factor of Mac being older, it gives him the advantage like Ty Simpson had the year before. But, Keelan Russell was the higher rated recruit. And, you do have that, I don't want to say fear, but, again, you wonder, would he transfer if, Matt gets the job? I think, to me, it would just make sense for Mac to play this year. If he has a really good season, like Ty Simpson did this past season, then he could be a one and done too, where, he goes pro, and then the next couple of years could be Keelan's time. But we just don't know. DeBoer has to go with the best quarterback at this current moment for the job. So even if long-term Keelan Russell's better than Mac, if Mac's better right now, then he's got to go with him. Same thing with Ty Simpson. We talked about Keelan. Even I talked about Keelan. I was like, hey, they probably should go with Keelan. But I didn't really account for Ty Simpson improving as much as he did. before this past season. So, it definitely comes down to how much Keelan Russell has progressed versus Austin Max. I mean, he doesn't have a lot of in-game experience, but just being older, being in, DeBoer's system as a backup longer, you know, it just that should play in his favor. But I don't know. It's going to be very interesting. I just think it's 50-50 as of right now because there's just not a lot of evidence to really, give clues yet. The more DeBoer talks, the more we see, with practice and spring ball and especially fall camp, we'll know more. And I definitely agree with his take that you kind of want to know, even if you don't announce it, because some people get hung up on the announcement. The announcement doesn't matter. You just have to make the decision internally, like, hey, we're going with this guy, but we don't have to let everybody else know. So it definitely would be good for DeBoer to know by, at least early fall camp.
True, and honestly, because I was like looking at some of the film from Landon Tingwell, where he showed some stuff from Austin Mack and Keelan Russell, where we saw like one clip where we saw like a few clips where like Mack was making some big plays at the Rose Bowl, where he was just kind of like somewhat keeping Alabama in the game, like not as much, but doing all right. At the moment, I guess. I don't know, but it's like he was just kind of like hanging in there.
Austin Mack definitely did not keep Alabama in the game. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
He had one drive. He had a couple
Yeah.
throws. No one was good in that game.
No.
No one was
Nobody
good.
yeah, nobody wanted to be there. It was like,
I
oh,
like I said, I get the sentiment on that, but no.
yeah. Oh man. But yeah, and we saw like Russell where he was just like running, like he was just making a huge run, but it was like in the FCS game, but took a
Mhm.
huge hit on that one. But it was against Eastern Illinois week before rivalry week. But if you're gonna be starting quarterback, you can't be taking those huge hits like that.
Austin Mack is good size. Like that's a major advantage for him over Keelan Russell. Keelan Russell's he's smaller and I'm not saying like completely dual threat because I mean he can run. It's just he can throw. Like you don't want to label a guy as just a runner because he can throw. I've seen Keelan Russell's film. He's a really good passer, but Mac is just positional size. He's very tall and he's got a big arm too. It's just if Keelan Russell is called up, that's all there is to it. It's just whether he's called up, because I mean we haven't seen anything from either of these guys. I mean that little bit from Mack in the Rose Bowl and the little bit from Keelan Russell in the FCS games, and none of that's really substantial. I mean
Right.
we've seen less of these two guys than we saw from Ty Simpson before last year. We don't really have any evidence from Mack or Russell in game. We have evidence in practice. We have evidence, we'll have in the spring, game and spring camps, fall camps, all that stuff. But in game, none of what Mack or Russell has done in game is that substantial at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's just we don't exactly know who's going to be starter this time, and
we didn't know last year either. I mean, I think as time progressed, it became more apparent it was going to be Ty Simpson's job because we had this conversation back in early spring and in late winter last year, and I was advocating for Russell hard because I thought Ty Simpson wasn't very good, but Ty Simpson kept getting more and more praise from DeBoer. And then it just kind of became like, yeah, he's going to win the job. We'll get signs eventually. DeBoer tends to, even if he tries to keep a secret, he does tend to kind of give away, who it's going to be. Last year, he by like early fall camp, even before that, we were all just like, yeah, it's going to be Simpson. He kept talking good about Simpson. So if he starts talking way better about Mack than Russell or vice versa, then you're going to kind of know.
Oh, agreed. There's no doubt about it. No doubt. And we've got our first caller of the night. You know him as a fan favorite. He is the one and only himself, godfather of the SEC. Let's go ahead and give him a round of applause. How you doing tonight?
There it is. How y'all doing tonight?
Oh, we're doing great. How are you doing tonight,
Pretty
man?
good.
I was sitting here watching this South Florida and Memphis basketball game. Some of these cats say that all the teams should be in. We should have every team in the tournament, Jeffrey. What do you think about that?
If you know me pretty well, and I'm pretty sure you do, you know I'm against that. Most people know I'm against expansion in almost every format or every sport, whatever. I mean, is in most instances the current format works, and if it's not broke, you don't need to fix it. And 68 teams in college basketball, I thought 64 was fine. I mean, I'm old enough to remember when there were 64 teams, and then they added four more to make it 68 with the playing thing. And it's like, okay, and then their justification is that, well, you've had VCU and you've had UCLA, 11 seeds in the first four going all the way to the Final Four. And yeah, that can happen, but it's still rare. And we've had a lot of weak bubbles. This year is very weak. None of the teams on the bubble are very good. Auburn's not very good. I hate to say it, but Indiana's not very good. Just like not great. They're not great teams. Last year Texas wasn't good. North Carolina was not good. Even though they did win a game, but like teams on the bubble most of the time are not good. And if you expand, I mean, the 76 is bad enough. I don't even want 76, but if you go to 96 or just some ridiculous number, then it's just like, what are we doing? Is you're gonna be putting in so many teams that are just garbage. I mean, you're gonna have teams like Baylor in right now. Like Baylor's 15-15. You're gonna have teams like, I don't know, maybe even DePaul, Wake Forest, like just garbage. I mean, these are not good teams, and they do not need to be in the tournament. I mean, that was literally the entire point of the NIT, which that was not the original purpose, obviously, of the NIT. The NIT's purpose was actually the NCAA tournament before the NCAA tournament was created. Then the NIT got shelved, but the NIT is still there for people that don't make the tournament. Play in that thing, which then everybody declines it, which makes no sense. It's like just playing it. And then you've got the crown. It's like you've got all these tournaments below March Madness that you can play in, but then a lot of these teams decline it. And just the same thing with a bowl game. It's so dumb. You want to expand the tournament to allow more teams to make it that don't deserve to be in when you already have tournaments for them.
Well, and we've got the SEC standings as of right now for men's basketball, as we're showing that Alabama, even though they got upset by Georgia Tuesday night, which sucked, they still got Auburn as the season finale. And Alabama wins on Saturday, they clinch a top 4 spot, which means they get a first and second round bye in the SEC tournament. They get to kind of sit and chill until next Friday night.
Honestly, shouldn't they have already clinched that anyway?
I think they did already.
Yeah, because I mean, you're looking at they're 12-5 in conference. They've already clinched that game. Honestly, the game doesn't matter outside of bragging rights because they're already a top 4 seed. I mean, it would hurt their seeding for the NCAA tournament a bit if they lost, but they're fine. Alabama's fine. The problem is with Alabama is just how inconsistent they've been. I mean, that Georgia game, yeah, Georgia's not a bad team, but I mean, they made Georgia look elite the other night.
Yeah,
like I watched the end of that game, and I mean, Georgia was kind of hitting some ridiculous shots, but still, like Alabama, good team. Nate Oates is really good, man, but like the defense sometimes it just. I mean, I know they won at Tennessee, and people are like, "Oh, the defense stepped up." Nate Ament getting hurt really helped them win that game.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie, it really did. If Nate Ament didn't get hurt, I don't think Alabama wins that game. I just honestly saying that. I think the only team in the SEC, to Steve's point, that is truly good is Florida. And I'm not saying Florida's going to win it all. I'm not making a pick there until at least the brackets revealed because that's just silly. It cracks me up when people go ahead and make predictions. Oh, this team's going to win. Why would you do that? Why would you? You don't even know the bracket yet. Like at least look at the bracket first, right? Okay, but Florida has a chance to win it all. Not saying that I think there are teams with way better chances than them to win it all. But after Florida, like, you've got about 3 other SEC teams that are good, and Alabama is one of those teams. And I mean really good. They're very, very good, but Bama's not a national championship contender. If they were a better defensive team, then I would say that they are.
It feels like, I don't know why, but it feels like Alabama basketball is saving their best stuff for March Madness, where they're gonna throw out again Jitsu. I mean, it feels like 2024 where they're gonna they threw out again Jitsu. They sucked in the SEC tournament, just kind of had everybody thinking that they were weak, right? But then they're just like going on a Cinderella run to the Final Four, upsetting North Carolina in the Sweet 16. You know, where it was like beating Clemson is nothing. They got through North Carolina in the Sweet 16. I don't know why, but I feel like something similar. I'm not saying they're going to go Final Four. I'm saying that it feels like they could be saving their best stuff for the NCAA tournament.
It's very well possible. I mean, they're a streaky team. You know, they've always been that way under Nate Oates, pretty much. You know, I think that depending on the bracket, and it's going to depend a lot on the brackets, like it always does. You get a bad matchup, Bama can lose in the first round. I mean,
yeah,
you know, but it just depends. I think they have, towards the top of all the teams in college basketball, the most volatility of what their result could be. You know, there's not a lot of teams that you could say, hey, they could lose in the first round or they could go to the Final Four. Alabama is technically one of those teams. I mean, I think the top is great. I think Michigan, Duke, Florida, maybe, you know, Arizona, teams like that, UConn, like they're really good. I mean, they're fantastic, and
I'm waiting for Arizona to have their Wile E. Coyote moment.
Arizona could. I think Arizona is legitimately way better than some of those other teams that did collapse. But that's not to say they can't collapse still. You know, like they absolutely could, but they are very good. It's just Alabama's definitely below those teams. Like they're not in the same air. But they do have a puncher's chance to be a Final Four type of team if they do what you say and you save their best for last and just get absolutely hot from 3, which can happen. I mean, they can explode on offense, but the game they go 6 for 30 from 3 is the game that they lose. It doesn't matter who they play because they can't defend at a high enough level to offset a poor shooting game. And plus, they aren't the best inside team either because, you know, outside of Philon and Holloway driving, I mean, Sherrell's okay, but he's not great. He's not a great center. He rebounds pretty well, and I like his effort, but he's not going to give you 20 and 10. Some of these other teams that we're talking about have a center that can go get 20 and 10 every game. And he's just not that guy. I mean, he can maybe give you 8 points and 12 boards, and that's great. But you need Philon and Holloway to play above their weight class every game against great competition. Because if not, then you get results like losing to Georgia. So, I don't know. I mean, I hate to be negative because I really like watching them. They're a very good team. Our team is good. Alabama has been very fun to watch under Nate Oates. They're just not a national championship contender. If Alabama fans believe that they're a national championship contender, then you're going to get your hopes up. If you're of the belief that they can lose in the first round or go to the Final Four, then you're going to be pleasantly or unpleasantly surprised depending on what happens. But if you think that they're going to win it all, then you're just going to you're sorry. You're going to be upset no matter what. And I don't think that this team is anywhere close to that level, especially with how good the teams at the top are this year.
I'm just happy to have seen Alabama make it to a Final Four in college basketball.
Absolutely,
honestly, because I mean it's like that looked like that was never going to happen. But we got Michigander in the chat saying, "Smash that like button." We appreciate very much, Michigander. He is one of our newest members of Alabama with the Voice of College Football. So give a round of applause to our member. There we go. There we go. And he was talking about Michigan barely winning tonight. I think they didn't beat. Wait a minute. Did they beat the spread? Let
I
me go
don't
ahead.
think they did. I don't think so. What was it? Couple of points.
It
Iowa won.
was -2.5, but then they were like changing it to -3.5.
Yeah, that seems
Uh,
low. I mean, that I'm shocked that spread wasn't higher. I didn't see a second of that game, but
68. What was it? 68-71. The final score. Michigan. I believe it was right. I believe it.
Oh yeah, 71-68 Michigan.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
And Michigander says that Michigan's the first team in 50 years to go unbeaten on the road. Even more impressive with an 18-team lead too. Oh
yeah, I mean, you think about like that game right there. I mean, Michigan is leagues and bounds better than Iowa, but the game was close because Iowa needed that game more than Michigan did.
Yeah.
They needed. Iowa's probably gonna make the tournament anyway. They're probably okay, but it's just like they needed that game more. And Michigan's already locked up every single conceivable thing that you can, they're going to be 1 seed, even if they had a loss tonight. They're top seed in the Big Ten. I mean, the game. I'm not saying Michigan didn't try because again, I didn't watch the game, but that shows you like even though Michigan is like way better than teams like Iowa, you can still have close games. That is what makes college basketball completely different than football. And I don't have to keep saying it. We all know this. That's why March Madness is fun, whereas a 64 team playoff in college football would be complete garbage. This is why, because Michigan is way better than Iowa. Iowa has one player practically, and if there's any Iowa fans in chat, they'll probably go completely crazy that I say that because they'll be like, "Oh, we got this guy was really good." Well, yeah, okay. Then why is the only name I hear Bennett Sturts? That's it. You're like it's like the Luka Garza Iowa team, but instead of a center, you got a guard. Yeah,
that sounds like a guy that makes shows for Cartoon Network.
Oh no, not Cartoon Network. Oh no.
Bennett Stirs. That sounds like somebody that makes a show for Cartoon Network. But
There you go. Yeah.
Godfather, how are you feeling about the SEC tournament? Matter of fact, how do you feel about the possibility and the likelihood that Alabama can knock Auburn out of the bubble on Saturday night?
I want them to beat them so bad.
I'm
Not
so
just because it helps Indiana, obviously, but I just Auburn's got to go.
sick of that Pearl bunch. Like, my God.
The funny thing is that literally Bruce Pearl, kudos to him, I guess. I mean, I guess we're giving kudos to just about anything these days, I guess. But kudos to Bruce Pearl for actually admitting the obvious and saying that, I don't want Miami, Ohio in because I want my team in the tournament, my former team that my son coaches. And then also, my son got the job because of nepotism. We didn't need to know that because we already knew that. But he actually said it. What's crazy to me, and I'm not trying to be brutal here. I'm just saying I don't understand why Bruce Pearl is on TV talking about sports right now in the way that he is.
I thought he was going to go into
honestly
politics.
Very confusing. I mean, like Jay Wright comes on there, and Jay Wright just like talks basketball and is happy and having a great time. And then you got Bruce Pearl on there, like, oh, Auburn should be in the tournament, and Miami, Ohio should not be in the tournament. It's like, dude, who cares?
And Pearl wants to complain about Alabama.
It's honestly, it makes zero sense. Like, it makes zero sense. He even on TV said the word "we" once, which is like, dude, I don't like. You're not Jay Wright, who's like a big time March Madness analyst on CBS, but I still don't understand what Bruce Pearl is actually doing right now. I mean, I'm guessing temporarily employed. I don't know what the situation is. I don't really care, but that much. It's just I keep getting Bruce Pearl. It's like Cam Newton. He's like Cam Newton right now. Like everything he says makes absolutely zero sense at all.
Yeah.
Like I like Cam Newton, and I always like Cam Newton. Great for the Panthers. One of the most fun quarterbacks I ever saw in my childhood of all time. Did wonders for the Panthers despite the not going for the fumble. But I mean, I'll always like Cam Newton. But dude, the sports takes just I honestly would just
like to have an interview with Cam Newton and just be like, why did you think Indiana sucked? Why do you think this? It doesn't make any sense. Just like that other dude. What's his name? His name like Ryan Clark or something.
Ryan.
That guy.
Right, yeah.
Every single thing that he says makes no sense. Like, I understand there's stuff I say that people are just like, okay, that don't make any sense. Yeah, it's our opinion, and that's fine. And we're all entitled to our opinion. But when you listen to somebody and 99% of what they say is just completely either wrong or it makes no sense in any context, the problem is probably not you. It's probably them. It has to be. Because, like I said, I don't understand sometimes what any of these people are saying at all. Like, it just, are they saying it to get, I know Bruce Pearl believes is what he's saying. I don't know about Ryan Clark. I don't know about Cam, but
Cam Newton
legitimately believes what he's saying about Auburn and Miami, Ohio. And that's what's really sad. Who cares who's better? Auburn's probably better than Miami, Ohio, but one team's undefeated and one team is 2 games above 500.
Like, Cam Newton one time literally was advocating for like I think it was like an 8-4 SEC team to get into playoffs over like a 11-1 Big 12 team. Like,
dude, Cam Newton literally said that Indiana was trash.
Funny.
He's like, oh, Oregon's gonna win, and
that's why.
I'm like, whatever. I mean, I don't know. It makes no sense to me, and I can't think of a Pacific Ryan Clark take as of right now. But you know what I'm talking about with that guy.
I don't think they have Cam Newton on TV to give hot takes. They just.
Oh, I can think of one that Ryan Clark just did, Jackson.
What?
He said the other day that Kyler Murray would have a better chance to win a Super Bowl than Lamar Jackson at the Ravens. that
Godfather, what do you think about this, man?
Yeah, they asked me today what my daily double was. I said, well, most of the time it's a glass of prune juice and enema. But anyway, yeah, Alabama has to win. I hope they make a good show, and we need to wax Auburn good Saturday.
Yeah, I do mean Pacific. I'm tired. Sorry, Michigander. I'm very tired. Long week, but yeah, Pacific, not Pacific Ocean. Pacific.
Yeah. We need to take them out. Take them out. Alabama don't beat Auburn Saturday night. I don't know. It ain't gonna hurt us, like you said.
They shouldn't get in anyway.
No,
I mean, they really shouldn't. They should not get in anyway. They're not a good team. They lost to Oklahoma. They lost to Ole Miss. They're not good. I mean, I'm not even advocating for Indiana really either. I mean, Indiana's not. Oh, you're good, Michigan. I know that I'm probably don't sound that sharp right now. I'm sorry. I'm trying, but yeah, it's like Auburn's not a good team. None of the teams on the bubble are good. Probably the best team on the bubble right now could quite possibly be a mid-major like VCU or Santa Clara. I'm not saying that they're specifically better, but I do think that there's a really good case that a team like that is better than an Auburn or an Indiana or a Cal. California is not a good team.
No.
None of those teams are at all. So I'm just, I'm not really advocating for any of them. I think if Indiana beats Ohio State on Saturday, I think there's a chance for them to get in. But I wouldn't really advocate for it. They're not a good team. Indiana's not a good team. They remind me of Texas last year with Trey Johnson. Indiana's got one good player. They got Lamar Wilkerson, and then the rest of the team is just kind of bad. DeVries every now and then, but the rest of the team sucks. Like Auburn, I can't even name you a player right now. I just care less about how bad they are. I mean, if we lose to them on Saturday, I'm going to be sad. I'm not going to be breaking down crying or anything. I'm just going to be sad because then there are going to be people trying to advocate for them to be in, and they probably will get in. Auburn beat Florida. You do realize that Auburn beat Florida like 3 months ago, and it doesn't matter anymore. I mean, that's what makes me laugh. Yeah. Like you're I keep saying the word advocating Pacific.
I won't cry, but
you're trying to justify a team being in the tournament that's barely over 500 because of a couple wins that they gained months ago. And they've done nothing of note recently outside of a 1-point win against Kentucky at home. That wasn't even impressive. Kentucky's not great either, and Kentucky should have won that game. And Auburn won that game because of a very controversial foul call late. That's not impressive. So that's a long-winded way to say I hope we pound them by 50 just to get them off the bubble forever. I want them gone.
I hope we get them, pound them up. Like a chicken nugget.
$2 super chat for Kate the Diesel where he says,
"Oh
good grief,
no,
these nuthead and noobs are yapping." With
just remember, Caden, you said that Georgia was going to destroy us, chew on the Bama meat. You remember this? You remember this?
He's lost. He's probably he's probably sniffing damn diesel fuel or something. I don't know what he's doing.
Keep him going, man.
I don't really care. I don't really. He's like the Energizer Bunny. He just keeps going and going and going. But anyway, it's always fun to be on here on Thursday night. Alabama, the voice of college football, and Jeffrey, it only talks sports where you talk sports sometimes, but not all the time. Now, that's the way I say it, but Jackson says sometimes daily, but sometimes not all the time during the day. But anyway, I like mixing all that up for Caden because he's going to call me an idiot to do it. So anyway.
Well, according to Caden, he won.
Yeah, I know.
We don't know what he won or how he won, but he won. So
I love it. You got to keep him fired up. He has to be fired up. Somebody has to do it. But anyway, we still love you, Kate. As long as Mark kicked you out, we still love you, though. We still love you. You got support here if you need it. If not, then stick your head in the toilet and flush it. But anyway, and get off this channel. But no, we love you. We love you. What do you put in the super chat? I didn't read it. Was it crazy? I guess I'll go back in the chat and read it.
It is good grief. These nut-headed noobs are yapping.
Oh, no.
We appreciate the $2 super chat, Caden, and for those who want to contribute to the Alabama channel, awesome. If not, no worries. That's why you like, comment, subscribe, click on the notification bell to Alabama, the voice of college football, so you never miss another video whatsoever.
Caden, it's where he talks sports. It's where he talks sports every day, or he tries to. I know what it is, Caden.
Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on the next time I take care of these noobs. And click like, because when I destroy these noobs, I'll be back on my throne.
Oh no. I told you I'd get him started. See what I started? It's my fault. I'm sorry.
Okay, Austin says something that's completely out of pocket. And I mean, like, again, I'm tired right now. And I'm not saying grammar words correctly at some points, but I know what you meant there, Austin. And I think everybody in chat knows what you meant. So I'm like, I don't know how we got to this point already, but
I don't even, man. I caused it. It's my fault. But anyway, all right, guys, I'm gonna slide. I'm gonna slide out of here and finish watching this South Florida and Memphis team. I guess see what happens here. But
by the way, Penny Hardaway's toast.
Yeah, he probably is. I agree. Yeah,
he's fired.
Yeah, probably so.
He's got to be. I mean, I know alma mater and stuff, but Memphis has probably the most resources now in the American since UCF, Cincinnati, and Houston are no longer in it, and that's the results you're pumping out there. Is
UAB in it? Are they in there? Or am I thinking wrong? Are they in there with them? UAB.
Mm-hmm. UAB is in the American.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Like I said, I hope we get Auburn there Saturday night. I think it's supposed to kick off about 7:30. Yeah, take them out by 50 points and make Jeffrey happy where they'll go home with their head tucked between their tail. And maybe they can make a pretty good showing, sure enough, in the SEC tournament. I hope they can. Like you said, Jeffrey, I mean, you got some teams. Arkansas sometimes kind of scares me a little bit when you watch them play.
That's the way John Calipari's always been, practically, outside of the 2 years that he had by far the best roster in college basketball.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But, the 2011-2012 team with Anthony Davis and all that won it all. I mean, that they were by far the best team. I mean, I don't think any coach could have lost with those guys. And then the 2014-15 team that should have won it all because they were loaded with the blue platoon and the white platoon somehow lost to Frank Kaminsky in Wisconsin in the Final Four. Since that season, though, Calipari has been the exact same guy every single year. He's got talent. He wins a lot of games, but they're just like on the fringe of being something good, like really good. They're all right. I mean, this year, like they've had about 3 or 4 games this year where they're really, really good, and then the rest of it's just kind of average. So I mean, yeah, Arkansas, they're in that tier with Bama. They're dangerous at times. They can beat teams above their weight class every now and then, but just not consistent enough.
No, not to make a run at the title, they're not. But SEC, I don't know. Florida, Florida. They got a good chance of winning it. I mean, I don't know if Tennessee can. I mean, I don't know if anybody can really. Can anybody really beat Florida? Can they?
Not in the SEC, no. But
I don't.
Well, I mean, Auburn beat them 3 months ago.
Yeah,
so they can be beat. 4 months ago, however long. Yeah. I mean, they can be beat. I mean, any team can be beat. Michigan lost to Wisconsin at home. Michigan has looked unstoppable at times. And yet they lost to Wisconsin, which Wisconsin's not bad, but still, like it can happen. It's just Florida definitely can be beat. I mean, I would not just shoehorn them in to win the SEC tournament. I mean, you got to realize, too, that winning the conference tournament is not the most important thing for teams at the top. I'm not saying they don't try. I do think that a lot of these teams still try, but especially with the SEC and the Big Ten, their conference championship game is on Selection Sunday. So it's not really beneficial to go all the way to try to win that because then you have to turn around and immediately play again. I mean, I'm not saying that's why the Big Ten hasn't won a title in so long because I just think overall the Big Ten just hasn't been that great outside of a few teams like some of Izzo's teams and Michigan that one year, Indiana in 2013 that completely collapsed in the Sweet 16 for some random reason, but they were a great team that year, and that's the last great team they've had. There's been some good Big Ten teams in the last 25 years, but I don't think it helps that they have their conference championship game on Sunday. I don't think it does. Purdue, the year Purdue lost to Fairleigh Dickinson in the first round, didn't they win the Big Ten championship?
Yeah, I think they played Penn State.
They played on that Sunday though, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not saying there's a direct correlation, but because, I mean, the other ones play on Saturday. That's only an extra day. I'm just saying that, like, maybe it is more beneficial to, like, lose earlier and then sit. I don't know. I mean, you'd have to do a lot of math and studying on that, like, go through tournament after tournament and see, like, who's winning it all, because I don't pay attention enough to that. But it is just something to be said. Like, if you're Florida, maybe it would be not that, off base to lose to Bama or Arkansas or whoever they play in like the semifinals and just not go all the way because that's an extra game you're having to play. It's more effort you're having to put out on a game that's not the ultimate prize. So I don't know. It's just one of those things that teams have to figure out. Is this important enough? Do we want to win this, play on Sunday, and then 4 to 5 days later you're now in March Madness already? And others, because you think about the WCC, that's insane. That Gonzaga or St. Mary's or whoever, like they're done. Like this week. And then they have all that time. Because you remember that one year that Indiana played in Dayton with Mike Woodson. They played Wyoming in the first 4 in 2021, 2022. And then they played St. Mary's in the first round. St. Mary's had 2 weeks off. Indiana had just had traveling issues where they had to go overnight and they got there the day of the game after flying from Dayton to Portland to play St. Mary's. St. Mary's won that game by 35. So rest, relaxation, getting to study more, the teams you might be playing. I think there's a lot to be said about not winning your conference championship in basketball. I'm not saying that teams shouldn't try because I think that would hurt these games, kind of like we're trying to maybe get rid of the conference championships in football, which would suck. But if you're Florida, if you're Michigan, maybe don't win your conference tournament. Maybe drop a game a little earlier so you don't have to be as tired when March Madness comes around.
True.
Yeah, it makes it. Yeah, assuming he. I don't know. Nate Oates would still like to have that under his belt, though. It'd help him. Might get him a little bit more extra money this year. You don't never know, but I don't know. We'll see what they do. We'll be here Saturday night, the good Lord's willing, and we'll watch it and see what goes on. But Michigan, Michigan and Iowa, I watched a little bit of it. I mean, it was a dog fight, but Michigan has looked better. I mean, but Iowa, you'd say, well, Iowa wouldn't take a team like that to the last few seconds of the ball game, but on the last effort shot, that guy missed. Iowa did, but it happens. It happens, but we'll see. All right, guys, I'll get out of here. Y'all be safe, and I'll catch y'all again. You gonna do a little reaction show after the Alabama-Auburn game Saturday night, Jackson, or a basketball game?
I'm thinking about it for sure. I'm definitely thinking about it.
Okay, well, holler at me. I'll be around somewhere. If you and Jeffrey gonna do something, I'll be hanging around like an old spider. Y'all be safe. I'll catch y'all next week sometime. Be safe, everybody. Bye-bye.
Appreciate it, Godfather. You have a great night.
And we've got Rammer Jammer coming in the chat. Oh, there you go. You got an endorsement. You're gonna be on ESPN one day. There you go.
I appreciate that, Rammer Jammer. I just love talking sports, and I love chatting with you guys and doing the show with Jackson. It's a great time, and you never know. I appreciate it.
Well, we appreciate Rammer Jammer coming in. Says it's a great show. We thank you very much, Rammer Jammer, for coming in the chat tonight. It's been a while since we saw you. We're glad to see you, man. And we've got our Nets caller of the night. We've got Sports Talk with Austin. How are you doing tonight, good buddy?
Doing pretty good. Can y'all hear me fine?
Loud and clear.
Okay. Jeffrey, Jackson, I want to push back on something Jeffrey said. You know how I am, Jackson and Jeffrey. When I got a point, I like to push back. So Jeffrey, you said, does the conference tournaments really matter? Here's the thing. Then why play the tournaments then, Jeffrey? It is my thing, and it goes for college football too. If you don't want to be the best, then why show up and make these things? Like, as a professional athlete, you should dream to be the best, right? That should be our ultimate goal in anything we do in life, but especially if you're an athlete, you should dream to want to be the best. I want to be the best in my conference. I want to be the best in the sport that we love. Kind of like Jackson. He wants to be the best at what he does. You want to be the best. I want to be the best. Like, why do you look at the conference championship as like do we want to play for? Explain that to me.
I mean, I don't personally look at it that way. It's not how I feel. I mean, I think every single game that you go out there onto the court or the field, you should give it 110%. It doesn't matter who you're playing. It doesn't matter how many games you play. I mean, that's kind of what you signed up for when you became a football or a basketball player. When you're playing for that team, you're supposed to give it 110% every single game, which is why people have been making fun of Darren Peterson at Kansas for not playing the entirety of games and missing parts of games and getting Bill Self to take him out, even though, he's had cramps and all that types of whatever. You don't want to tear an Achilles or something or have calf problems or, ruin his potential career, something like that. I mean, I get all those things, but I mean, that's more, looking at self versus team, not Bill Self, but himself versus team, the team, which a lot of people look at as being selfish, but there's a lot more money involved now. Players are, as much of a team as you try to be, you're looking at it from more of an individualistic standpoint. So I think that the conference tournaments, in my opinion, matter a lot because they should matter. You want to get hardware of any kind, even if it's not the title. You want to get the conference, title trophy. But I think in the era that we're in sports, it just doesn't make as much sense to try hard in these conference championship games and tournaments when the ultimate goal, especially for these teams at the very top, is to win it all, and you're expending more effort and energy. And in the past, that used to never be a thought. In the 50s and 60s, I don't think any of those players, they were just like, hey, we're suiting up for the next game. We got to win. Now it's like, like load management, that term in the NBA is just been destroyed. But it's creeping its way in to college sports. I mean, you think about it, Jeremiah Smith and was it Tate? I think it was Tate. Or was it Tate or Abuka? I'm missing seasons or year. I'm tired. But Jeremiah Smith for sure. But the other guy, for the two receivers for Ohio State, did not play in those couple games because of the fact that they were basically doing load management. You can chalk it up to whatever you want. I mean, they had a minor injury, I guess. I mean, I'm sure they did. But it's also like, hey, we're going to win these games anyway, so let's just not play. That's the point. It's just becoming more and more of a case where players and coaches are looking at this stuff strategically. And it's like, if you're Florida, you're already at a slight disadvantage because they're not as good of a team as Michigan. They're not as good of a team as probably UConn, or Arizona. But just say UConn and Michigan and Arizona go all the way to the conference championship game and win, and they put more effort into winning those games, and then Florida decides, hey, they just lose in the first round, then Florida's not as worn out, and then we're talking 3 or 4 weeks from now, Florida's won the whole thing. Again, that's a hypothetical. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying that a lot of people are looking at the stuff in this way. I don't agree with it. Kind of like how Jackson's an advocate for USC Notre Dame being back, and I agree with him. But what we think does not dictate what actually occurs.
No.
We all want Darren Peterson to play every minute, and we all want Darren Peterson to be out there on the floor all the time. But he's not going to be, because he has chosen, and his agent has chosen, and his probably family has even inputted that if you think your stock is going to fall playing, if you get hurt, do not play until you feel okay. And it's just, there's a lot more factors involved in at play here now than there used to be when players and coaches just didn't give a crap and you went out there every single game, no matter who it was and how many games you had to play or how many more games you played versus the other team to achieve the ultimate goal, which is winning every game. It's not how this works anymore. Sometimes teams purposely drop a game for the greater good. And that's a shame, because that making me saying that out of my mouth makes me want to vomit, but it's a fact that it occurs.
Mm-hmm. And you see, and here's the thing for me is what I have an ultimate problem with is these players. You're a part of a team. There's guys that are 9th, 10th on the bench that have been there all 4 years, and all they ever wanted, if you're a team, like a Houston, Kansas, we know the spiel, right? But to them, that could be something that they could cherish for the rest of their life. Hey, we won the Big 12 title. We did that together. Yeah, we didn't win the whole thing, but they can go back and say, hey, we won the Big 12 title together. We did that as a team, and you could be proud to look back on that. I miss that. Like, that's what I'm getting at. Like, why don't players take more pride in that? Like, that's a great accomplishment. That should mean something. You were the best in your conference for that year. Like, let me ask you guys this. If Alabama wins the SEC championship and you don't win the whole thing, will you all look back on this year and say, man, we didn't win the whole thing, but man, we won the SEC. I'm proud that we did that.
Yes. And I think that most fans would feel the same way because of the fact that the narrative around this team is that it is not a national championship caliber team. Once you reach that national championship caliber tier, everything changes perceptionally from fans and media and the own team. Because it's like Oregon. We remember Oregon. They won the Big Ten in football and went 13-0 a year and a half ago. And then they got blown out to Ohio State in the playoff. Well, everybody's like, well, that was disappointing. Oregon lost. They got blown out, and that's all people remembered. That probably even 5 years ago would not have been the case. The takeaway would have been, wow, Oregon had a great season. And, it's just Alabama's basketball this year is not in that tier of being a national championship caliber team, and no one's saying that they are. It kind of cuts off at Purdue. Like every team from Michigan and UConn and all those teams at the top, Arizona, all that kind of stuff, Duke, they're the clear cuts. And then you go all the way down to like Purdue. It kind of just cuts off at Purdue, even though I don't think Purdue is a national championship team, but everybody likes to throw in Purdue because it's Purdue. and Purdue must be in the conversation, even though they're not. But after Purdue, you're not a national championship caliber team, and Alabama's below Purdue. And that's why winning an SEC championship, in my opinion, based off what you just said, would be amazing, and no one would really have a problem with that. Even though Rammer Jammer just say, no, I want natties. Everybody wants natties. Indiana fans want natties.
Yes, we all want the championship.
Rutgers fans want natties, even though they suck. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, Rutgers and Adam Lamparello and
Gabriel. We love that's the thing.
But Rutgers is not good, but they want natties. Everyone wants natties. But if it's not a realistic thing, then you take what you can get.
So, but before we get to Net's point, we got a super chat and a super sticker. We got a $5 super chat from Kane the Diesel Freak. Sorry in advance, Austin. This is just a message from Kane that I'm reading. So, anyway, he says Austin is the dumbest noob, and it doesn't surprise me how this noob can't come on my show and tell me himself he's a loser.
Why would anybody come on a show and say that about themselves? Even if that statement is true, like even if you were like the worst person on the planet, why would you do that? Why would you say that about yourself? You know, that doesn't even make any sense, Caden. Like that doesn't make any sense.
That
and Austin is far from what you're saying, what you say about all of us. None of us are anywhere close to that. But it's like, why would anybody even do that? You know what I'm saying? That'd be like all of us saying, "Oh, Caden, you're the worst. You're the most horrible." And then we're gonna be like, "Come on our show and say that about yourself." Why would we do that? Like you're not the worst, Caden, but why would you do that? Does it? Okay.
Like, we need more love in this world. Like, Caden, love yourself, my man. Look yourself in the mirror and love yourself. I mean, come on, dude. Like, we all could be equals here, good buddy. But go ahead, Jackson.
He's just being Caden. I took the comment way too seriously because I know he's being him, you know.
Yeah, I mean, we appreciate the $5 super chat from Kay, but we also appreciate this $4.99 super sticker from our good buddy Godfather at SEC, where the super sticker says, keep it up. Well, we love it. We love it very much. And once again, guys, you know, if you want to help contribute to Alabama with the Voice of College Football, you know, put in a super chat or put in a super sticker. But even if you can't be able to put in a super chat or put in a super sticker, no worries. That's why you see on the ticker down below to like, comment, subscribe, click on the notification bell to Alabama with the Voice of College Football so you never miss no video whatsoever. Now, where were we?
Yes. But to Jeffrey's point, I think what a lot of this comes down to, and it's sad to say because all of us here, we love college basketball. We all love college football. It's affecting all sports, but it's the competitive drive. Slur my words now. We're all tired here. Drive is gone because everyone already, there's no longer that drive of like, hey, I want to make it to the league. Like, this is it. If I don't make it to the league, this might be it. I was listening to a podcast the other day with Christian Brown on it, and he was talking about what the world would have been like if they had NIL back in his day. Like, we all know that was just starting to come of age, and he said, I don't know if I would have been able to make it to the pros because my competitive edge would have been gone, and I need that in my game to stand out. And I feel like that's where this NIL is hurting, like you said, Jeffrey, and what you've said, Jackson. Why maybe the conference championships are getting devalued now because it's just like, well, I compete for this when that big one's right there. I'll get paid more if I win that. Like you both have said.
Yeah. The problem is with the whole NIL thing and we all agree with this. I think most people agree. I can't say all because there'd be somebody that would disagree, but. You know, I think that if NIL was constructed in a way where if you are a freshman, even if you're a highly rated guy, you still haven't done anything yet, you don't get paid that much, then the incentive is to play very well. And the better that you play and the more popular that you become, then your NIL increases. You know, I mean, that's like being at a job and you do good at that job. You're better than this guy over here at this job. And then you start making more money than this guy at this job because you're better than that guy at that job. Well, that's how NIL should be. And it's like you go ahead and you give the freshman $5 million to sign on the dotted line to play at this school because you are projecting that he's going to be this valuable of a player. Then, like you said, a lot of the competitive fire does go away, especially if you go ahead and grant that player the starting job. In the case of Bryce Underwood, who did not earn or deserve any of what he's gotten so far in any capacity. He's not even great. You know, like he could become great, but you had to earn that. You had to become great. You had to, like, even if you were the highest, like back in the 90s, you even had rankings. You had like the RSCI and stuff. Like you had rankings. It's just, you weren't already like, okay, well, this guy is now playing on our team and he's now de facto number one. You still had to earn your way. I mean,
Nick Saban.
Way even in the 50s and 60s, way a long time ago before any of us were around. Players used to automatically have to redshirt as freshmen. All those greats in the past, when you went to college, you didn't get to play as a freshman. They wouldn't let you play. A lot of those guys, they only got 3 years because they only gave them 4 years in your freshman year. You couldn't play. They didn't even allow them to play. So that literally was instilling, okay, wait your turn. Now it's like, oh, well, you got to play immediately. Like if Keelan Russell doesn't play, he's going to transfer. It's just how we've changed in 6 years.
But before we get to the rest of that, let's get to the comment section. As we got the IT guy wishing us all a good morning from Thailand. His last day in Thailand, flying home tomorrow. See you guys soon. And also, you know, we want to shout out to a friend of my dad / the IT guy who's also from Alabama, Staff Sergeant Knight from Decatur, Alabama, giving out a Roll Tide. And we give a shout out to Staff Sergeant Knight, a huge Alabama fan. And, you know, we can't wait for Staff Sergeant Knight to come home, and we can't wait for the IT guy to come home.
Yes.
Also,
yes, we
can't wait to get everybody
that they will be able to get home safely, and it's so cool to be in another country like that. It's awesome. I do want to comment on Steve's point about never talk about insane money these coaches make. The reason that these coaches are making a lot of money now, and the reason why anybody makes a lot of money, like LeBron, is because the sport of college football has become valuable. Like a lot more valuable than it used to be. And because of that, they're paying the guy that is responsible for the money that is being brought in to the team coaching those guys. So then now the byproduct is we got to pay the players too because they're the ones producing it based off the coaching that the coach is doing and other reasons, which is fair. I'm not against NIL in that context. It's just how it's being done. That's the problem.
Well, and the thing too is like, look at Signetti. Like he had all these incentives this year in his contracts. If you get 10 wins, you get this much. If you make the playoffs, you get this much. When he won the Natty, he got like an extra, what was it, 15,000, Jeffrey? Like what was it? Like what was the incentive when he won that? I'm forgetting. Like he made so much.
But if I were me getting those incentives, what I would be doing is just putting that in a Robinhood account and just have it, you know, just have it turn into millions or something like that. But that's just me.
Signetti, yeah, I was gonna say it was hundreds of thousands, 250,000. He made a lot on incentives. But I mean, like
he earned it though.
Said Underwood did earn the job. Michigan quarterback room was weak. I know the Michigan quarterback room was weak, and I know that he technically was the best quarterback. It's just that's not the point that I was making though. The point that I was making was the fact that Underwood was handed everything. He didn't have to earn anything. That's what I'm saying. When you do not have to earn anything, it takes the drive and the will away. How's he going to get better? Unless he just internally is like, okay, I don't care that I'm making $10 million a year. I don't care that I was already gifted the job. I don't care that the job is never going to be taken away from me. I just internally want to get better. And maybe he has that drive. If he has that drive, then he can get better. But if he doesn't, then he's kind of screwed because he's never going to get any better, and then he's never going to be a great pro, and he's never going to have a great career, which he all could have had if he wasn't already given what he's been given now when he didn't deserve it. That's all I'm saying. Again, you can disagree with what I just said, and that's fine because, I mean, you can rationalize the opposite. I'm not saying that's wrong, because DDR is right. He did earn the job. I'm just saying that the situation he's been put in is not helping his progressive development. It's just not, unless he himself does that. And I understand that every single player, even back in the 50s, had to have that will and desire to want to get better. I just think that in this modern era, it breeds not improving. It breeds just not giving a crap about trying to get better as a player to the same degree and effect that players did 70, 80 years ago when things weren't handed to them. Now, it's not to say players can't improve. It's not to say that there aren't still examples of that. I just think there are more examples and more examples of players becoming stagnant because the keys have already been handed to them.
Well, and here's a great example of that. Tua and Jalen, right? Like, both great quarterbacks, but Nick Saban made them both earn their keep. Like, you saw how quick he yanked Jalen and put Tua in, and you saw how quick Tua lost and Jalen came back in. Like, Nick Saban made them both better for that. They both learned from that, and they both grew from that. And what you're getting at, Jeffrey, and what Jackson has gotten at, is when you got a QB room like Michigan, as weak as it is, still, Bryce Underwood didn't have to compete for the job. He didn't have to earn it, per se. They just basically said, here, we need you. We have no other options. Here's all the money we can give you. Please stay at Michigan. Flip to Michigan, because he was going to go to LSU, correct? Before that.
Yeah, he was going to go to LSU, but then he went over to Michigan, which, I mean, that was a good move personally, because, I mean, it's like if you went to LSU, that would have been a disaster over there for you.
But to the point, though, it's just like what Jeffrey is saying, though. But I do want to ask, though, guys, Alabama lost to Georgia. How are we feeling about Bama going into Saturday? Because Saturday is a must-win for Auburn.
Not Auburn out of the bubble. That's how we're feeling.
Well,
That's
I mean, they're at home. It's a rivalry game. They should be fired up.
Smack them.
I mean, Auburn, if they care still, because every single bracketologist out there is telling them that they're either still in the field or they're right there outside, and that a win over Bama would put them back in the field. They still should care. I guess.
I think Lenardi or whoever's doing like the bracketology on ESPN has them at like the first 4 out, which I'm not even going.
The bracket matrix that does the aggregation of all the bracketologists or whatever, there's like 90 something of them currently today. There's like 120 of them yesterday, but they dropped off half of the old ones that haven't updated. But Auburn's in like 25 of the 90 brackets right now. So they're out, but a few of them still have them in, and a win over Bama they claim would put them back in, which
here's the thing real fast, and I know Jeffrey is gonna probably get him going here in a second. But Jeffrey, you know why Auburn's still right there, right? Because of what Bruce Pearl left behind. The strength of schedule. Bruce Pearl left them with such a brutal schedule. And they were even talking about that Saturday the other night when they played LSU. If Auburn didn't have the strength of schedule, they'd be nowhere near this conversation. So you could thank Bruce Pearl for this, Jeffrey. I know you were going on a mini rant, but he left Auburn such a tough schedule for his son that now that they're able to survive. If they beat Alabama, like right now the door is barely open, but if they beat Bama, that door's going to be wide open again. And then we're going to have like Ohio State, Indiana. That's essentially a winning end game for the winner.
I'm so ready for Bruce Pearl to crash out.
Well, the thing I don't understand about that whole situation is just, again, Bruce Pearl's argument. He's not arguing for Auburn versus Indiana. He's not arguing for Auburn over Ohio State, which are, I guess, reasonable arguments. Because Auburn does have 5 quad 1 wins, and Ohio State and Indiana have 2, and they played the number 1 strength of schedule, and Indiana and Ohio State had top 35 schedules, which still isn't bad. But I mean, if you're gonna sit there and argue for that, I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. But you're picking on Miami, Ohio. A 30-0. We know that Miami, Ohio's schedule is garbage. It is flat out garbage. It is. Like, you honestly cannot draw up a much worse schedule than that. because factually it's the case. Like there are like now 364 teams in college basketball or something to that effect. There was like 355 a few years ago, but now it's like 364 because they've added all these other teams or whatever. There's 360 something or 70 or whatever teams in college basketball. And I read the other day that Miami, Ohio's strength of schedule is 349. That's bad. I mean, it's at the bottom of college basketball. So
Yes.
they are undefeated because their schedule is trash. If they had played anybody with a pulse in the non-conference, they would have lost. If they had played Virginia Tech, St. Mary's, Indiana, Auburn, any of those teams, they probably don't win. But the fact that he's picking on them, though, in favor of his team getting in over them is pretty silly. Because for one, Miami, Ohio is an outlier. That doesn't normally occur. The MAC has not had any team like this ever. You know, it's cool for one. It's a cool story, and that's where I'm in favor of the people for pro Miami, Ohio. Same with pro Indiana. It's like, why can we not be excited about a cool story like this? We should want Miami, Ohio to make the tournament. We should want them to get in. Why do we want barely over 500 Auburn that's had 8 billion chances to prove they're a great team and they've squandered most of them? But we're not happy about this little story. That's not going to be there next year.
And here's the thing, too, not to cut you off,
Auburn's going to be there next year. Auburn's going to be there. Miami, Ohio's not.
Like, Jeffrey, we know what this is. It's name brand. Miami, Ohio is not brand recognition. And in Auburn, they bring in the money, whether we like them or not. Whether you and Jackson like them or not, you all know Auburn brings money, and Auburn's good for TV. If Auburn's in the tournament,
that's all you care about, though, then that hurts the sport. Because college football, we've already resonated that college football is all about the money. I mean, it's clearly all about the money. They no more Tulanes, no more James Madisons. I know they're technically keeping the group of 5 for the one team, but no one cares about those teams. They're dead. They're history. You know, everybody cares about the big brands and making the most money, and then college football is just raking it in. NCAA, all that, just these teams are just raking it in. Basketball is not that. It's the Cinderellas. It's the Loyolas, the St. Peters, the Fairleigh Dickinsons. Those teams don't win at all, but they matter. You know what I mean? They matter. Florida Gulf Coast, all that. They matter. You take them away and just say, we don't care. If Miami, Ohio goes to the MAC championship game and loses, and they're 34 or 35-1 or whatever, and they don't make the tournament, that's to me not good at all for college basketball.
Bad.
Even though I do think Miami, Ohio is legitimately not that good, they still should get in, because if not, then why are they playing the games?
And here's the thing, too, Jeffrey. Then it's going to start the pro expansion people. They're going to start on their soapbox. This is why we need to go to 72, 74. Listen, Jeffrey, I'm like you and Jackson. No more expansion. Leave the dang tournament alone. We've done ruined college football. Sorry. Try not to go on a soapbox here. Let's not ruin March Madness, okay? Like, let's not dilute it and say, oh, we need to make sure this team, let's keep it at 68. Let's leave that alone. Let the committee get their head out their butt, as Jackson likes to say, and do the right thing. Yes, Auburn's, they equal money. It's good for TV. But Auburn, as you say, Jeffrey, did not earn the right to be there. They lost too many times on too many chances. They should be out of this conversation. You know, Indiana and Ohio State, if it's between one of them, like, no offense, Jeffrey, they should be out of this conversation. Indiana lost to Northwestern. Miami only had one loss pinned on them. Sorry. Like, you see what I'm saying? I'm not trying to pick on one team.
Come on in, Miami, Ohio.
I mean, I don't disagree with any of that. I think all the teams on the bubble are horrible. I don't think any of them are good, and I don't think it hurts, you know, to allow Miami, Ohio in. I mean, it's like that year Indiana State didn't get in. I mean, clearly Indiana State was a tournament team because the team went to St. Louis, and St. Louis is going to be a tournament team. So it's like, I mean, that kind of shows you they kind of messed that one up there. You know, Indiana State probably should have made it. And like, I agree with Michigander's point that you won't get Cinderellas anymore because of NIL. I agree with that, but we've still had Cinderellas even in the NIL era. I mean, with further data and more years that we go by with NIL, maybe that actually becomes true fully. But like St. Peter's and Fairleigh Dickinson existed in the NIL era. They occurred in the NIL era. So I'm not giving up on that ship yet, because I still think college basketball is volatile enough that even a team stacked with the best players can lose. We just saw Michigan today barely beat Iowa. I know you're like, Iowa's not St. Peter's, but Iowa's not a world beater. Iowa's not elite. They got one guy. They got Bennett Sturr. The rest of it is very average. And guess what? They almost beat Michigan. It can be done. It can be done. It's college basketball. It's not football. College basketball, a bad team can win all the time, because a good team have a horrible night, miss free throws, miss threes. It happens. It just flat out happens. And that's why I do think Cinderellas are still going to occur. Maybe not at the volumes they used to occur, but I do think they're still going to occur. But if you start taking these teams out of March Madness altogether, that's just going to just destroy the tournament.
And a couple more things I want to get.
Just said Iowa was only in the game because Michigan had 18 turnovers. That's my point, though. It happens. It happens.
That's
Purdue
the beauty of this.
Lost to Fairleigh Dickinson. Their tallest player was 6'5". They beat Purdue with Zach Edey. Okay, it can happen. That's why March Madness, as is perfect enough. It's not perfect because nothing's perfect in life, but it's pretty dang close to perfect. And messing with it is just dumb. Yeah. Messing with it would be the biggest mistake ever. Like college football, like we've talked about, it's just been butchered to death. But, whatever. That ship sailed. It's never going to go back to 4. It's never going to go back to the BCS. So I just given up talking about it. But that's destroyed. And they're going to keep expanding. Basketball don't need to be expanded. And as long as Cinderellas keep winning, then they need to be in the thing. They just do. If it somehow ever gets to the point where they never win, if every single 12 through 16 seed loses every single game, every single year for the next 5 years, then maybe we can have that conversation. Okay, well, now NIL's destroyed that, so let's just get rid of them. But I don't want that to happen, though. I don't. I do not want to see that, because Cinderella's is like half the enjoyment of March Madness. Without that, it just, okay, now we're, so excited about seeing Auburn in the 12-5 game with Louisville or whatever, instead of seeing, South Florida and Louisville. And South Florida beats Louisville. Sorry, Austin, but they beat Louisville, and it's exciting. It's just not exciting with garbage Auburn. No one cares about garbage Auburn, because, again, they're going to be there next year, probably. Miami, Ohio's never going to be back. Loyola's never been back. St. Peter's has never been back because Shaheen Holloway went to Seton Hall, and he's actually a really good coach. And look what happened to his team. He lost all of his players. He lost Kadari Richmond to St. John's. He lost all of his players, had a horrible year last year, and he has a pretty good team this year, but the portal's killing him. But it's like, people like this stuff, man. They like it. You like the St. Peter's, but now you're seeing public opinion start to shift, and that's what they want. They want it to shift. It's sickening, man. You're seeing people turn on Miami, Ohio. You're seeing it this year. You're seeing people turn on Miami, Ohio in favor of crappy garbage Auburn. That's what they want you to think. Okay, we want Auburn in because of the money. No one cares. Stop thinking about the money. It's going to be fun and exciting if Miami, Ohio is in the game with freaking North Carolina in the round of 64 and it's a close game. Get Auburn out of your head.
If you need money because of Auburn getting in March Madness, then I say you're making some bad investments or bad financial choices.
It's ridiculous. You're seeing public opinion shift for no reason. My entire life, people have loved Cinderellas. People have loved these small schools having great seasons. I mean, when I was 9 years old when the Florida Gulf Coast team was a thing, 9 or 10 or whatever, and people just were, oh my gosh, Florida Gulf Coast, this Dunk City madness, they're incredible, and people loved it. People love Loyola. I was even getting sick of Loyola. I thought the Sister Jean and all that stuff was amazing. Rest in peace, Sister Jean. I thought that was amazing, but I was like, are you serious right now? Loyola's in the Final Four. Are you serious right now? They're not that good. I was even like, are you kidding me? But I still liked it. I thought it was cool that somehow this team out of nowhere did this. But now you're starting to see people change their mind because of constant bombardment of people saying the same repetitious garbage like Auburn is better than Miami, Ohio. So now I don't care if they are. They probably are. But now you're saying, oh, well, Miami, Ohio should get in. And when that public opinion shifts, it's over. You can't get it back. Once you lose what you got right now, once you lose the current March Madness format, once you lose the Cinderellas, you ain't getting it back. So be careful what you wish for. Be careful listening to people that don't have your best interest at heart when it comes to fun basketball and fun tournaments. Because I'm sorry, but Miami, Ohio is better for the sport than Auburn. Even though Auburn might be better, even though Auburn might make you more money, Miami, Ohio, we remember these things. No one's going to remember if Auburn goes to the Sweet 16 this year. But everyone's going to remember if Miami, Ohio does. Everybody. And I know if the real was here, he'd be saying, well, Jeffrey, that's the exact same thing we're talking about if Arizona State had to beat Texas in the college football playoff. And then we'd be talking about these little teams should be getting – football's different. Football's different. Basketball's different.
I want to say this too. Couple points here, and then I'll get out of here. Is I want to add to your point about this, Jeffrey. And I think a lot of it is, Jeffrey. And I think people now – it's like college football. The casual fans are starting to creep back in more. And I know March Madness and the CFP and all that have always had those casuals. But now they're really starting to get where people are like, why do we want to see San Diego State UConn? UConn's just going to beat them by 40. I want to see UConn in Houston, UConn in Florida. I want to see a game that's – and I'm like, guys, this is the beauty of March Madness. You're taking one game out of context. Like, that's the thing about it. Like, if Miami, Ohio gets in and they get blown out, they'll be like, see, we should have put Auburn in. We should have put Auburn in. I told you all we should put Indiana. But if Miami, Ohio goes on and, say, gets to the Elite Eight and then gets blown out there, they'll be like, see, that's no fun. Like, it's one of them. It's like they don't want to see the little guy succeed. It's like if Alabama goes on and plays, let's say, Houston in the national championship, people are going to be like, oh, yeah, this is great. Like, this is what I want. I want all one seeds. It's like, that's no fun, guys. Like, be honest with me, guys. Do we really want to see that every year where we get all chalk? One seeds every year? Do we really want that? Be honest with me.
Not every year.
Absolutely not. I mean, if it was like a one-off, sure, but if it was happening every year, I mean, because then it takes the entire, March Madness insanity out of it. I mean, even that year that North Carolina was an 8 seed and went all the way to the national championship game, that was cool because it was like North Carolina for like 50 to 70% of that season played like a garbage team. And then they just got hot. Caleb Love was on fire. And it was, and then the iconic shot over Duke in Coach K's career and all that. That was cool. Yeah, I know North Carolina's a brand team and one of the Blue Bloods and everything, but still, like, they did pretty much the unthinkable that you're still doing what they did. I mean, if you have all one seeds doing it every year, then that's just lame. I mean, even college football was more fun this year because you had the upsets and stuff. Miami, I know people like, well, Miami's still great, all that's Miami was still not supposed to go to the national championship game. And before 2 years ago, Indiana was Indiana. So it was still cool.
And it's just
there were more ratings for Indiana Miami than whatever the heck occurred last year between Notre Dame and Ohio State. There were more ratings for Indiana Miami. So I think that there are still people in the public that like cool and unique things.
And I will say this, too, to add to this, is like the year Alabama went all the way to the Final Four. That was cool. Like, and people say, well, that's Alabama, Austin. Why? Like, do you realize Alabama basketball used to struggle to get 10 wins every year? Like, I know you. Like, and that's the thing, too. And I know you all, but I'm talking to our viewers that maybe didn't watch Bama. They're like, but Bama's good now. But before they were crap. No offense, Jackson, Jeffrey. Love y'all to death, but no offense.
None taken.
And it's just like, this is cool to see a guy like Mark Sears, Grant Nelson go on this run. It would have been cool to win it all. It would have been cool to see them say, hey, we're just kind of like Indiana would have flipped. And it's like Jeffrey said, if we take that away, what do we have left in March Madness? And we don't want that. We want compelling. We want fun. We don't mind if we get a 1 seed, maybe a 5, a 6. We want the best product we could put out there. And the best product is with Cinderellas, like you said, Jeffrey, with the Miami Ohios, with the Loyolas, with the San Diego State, the FDUs, the FAUs, the Bamas, or North Carolina sneaking in and going on a run. That's what March Madness is all about, and I hope it continues that way. But as far as Bama goes for the basketball region, so if Bama loses to Auburn, play with me here for a second, so to speak, what seed do you think they could fall to in the tournament? because that would be a huge blow, especially now that they lost to Georgia. What are we thinking, fellas?
Probably like 5 seed, unfortunately.
If Alabama lost to Auburn and they lost in the first round of the SEC tournament, then I think that they could fall to a 6. But if they beat Auburn and win a game in the SEC tournament, I think a 4 is still possible. I mean, right now I'd say they're 5. A 4 is not out of the question, but they do need to beat Auburn to have a shot at that.
So you don't think the Georgia loss hindered them too much? It's
because Georgia's a good team metrically. Like the way all the metrics were, if you're on the road, you have to just be at least top 75 to be a quad 1, and Georgia's definitely top 75 because they're going to make tournament. And I mean, Georgia's solid enough. Like they're all right. You know, they're probably better than they were last year.
I want Alabama to have another go at Arizona in March Madness.
Now that's a compelling game, Jackson. We ought to put you on the marketing team. That's a compelling game.
You just want to see us beat Jaden Bradley again.
Well, yeah, and plus Arizona falls apart in March Madness. So I mean, it's like it'd be perfect.
And let me ask you this too, Jackson and Jeffrey. I just thought of this. Who's your all's coach of the year for college basketball so far? Like, who do you think is going to win it? Do you think it's going to be John Shire? Do you think Nate Oates has got a chance at it? Like, what are we thinking, guys?
I feel like they should wait till March Madness ends to do something like that, to be honest. But
I mean, if you're gonna go regular season, I mean, you've got to at least consider the Miami, Ohio guy.
Yeah,
you've got to at least, you know, his name's not coming to me right now, but you know, the Miami, Ohio guy,
Travis,
that guy. Yeah, it's funny because I read that the Akron coach, who's the second best team in the MAC, is his half brother. I think it's his half brother. That John Grossi. I don't know how you pronounce his last name. That guy,
John
you know what I'm talking about. That dude. So I don't watch the MAC much. I remember Travis Steele though because he was at Xavier. Got fired. But yeah, so I think the Nebraska coach, as Michigander said, absolutely should have a case. Fred Hoiberg, because I mean, you think about it, he's a success story. The teams are not patient anymore. That's another thing that's lost in this era of everything, the world, not even just sports, just everything. Patience. The virtue is going away. People don't have patience. And Nebraska was patient. Now, granted, Nebraska's not normally good in basketball, so they were more lenient than blue bloods or big programs that fire coaches after 2-3 years. But Fred Hoiberg, if you go back and look at his record in the first 3 to 5 seasons at Nebraska, it was garbage. And everybody was like, how is he still employed? Well, it paid off because they waited and they waited and they waited and they waited, and now they're good. So, you know, he should get a shout out. Don't know if they'll give it to him, but Fred Hoiberg should have a shot at it. I mean, you got your names in there. I mean, Shire's going to have a case. Dusty May's going to have a case.
Nate Oates have a case.
Nate Oates possibly. Lloyd. You know, even Dan Hurley. All the people at the top. It's just the thing with Coach of the Year though. There's got to be a combination. There's got to be an element of surprise. You know, like you know what I'm saying? Like the team has to outperform. Like it, because if you're just going to give it to the best team all the time, like then Kirby would have tons of them, and Ryan Day would have tons of. Like the reason Signetti won it last year is not that Indiana was the best team. It was because Indiana outperformed expectations better than any other team in college ball last year. What Signetti did was the best coaching job last year, and then he did it again this year, improving it even further, winning a title at Indiana. So he won it again. Like, okay, Duke and John Shire, yeah, you could give him Coach of the Year, but is he doing anything out of the ordinary? No, because it's Duke, and they've got the best team, players, and all this crap. It's like, okay, so is it really the Coach of the Year? I mean, I think Fred Hoiberg and the Miami, Ohio Travis Steele guy, who has a half-brother in the MAC at Akron, is more impressive than Shire or May. I mean, May's probably more impressive because Michigan was really bad a couple years before that, but
and I think too, Jeffrey.
I don't think Nate Oates' year, by the way, Michigander. I think he is in the bottom of the conversation. He's not close, but it's just he's done well. I mean, Alabama's still historically bad, and they still are doing good, but no, he's not going to win it.
Mm-hmm. And I will say this too, real fast, is like the reason why I bring up Nate Oates for this conversation is because you lost a lot of talent from last year's team, like a lot of coaches do. You replaced almost your entire roster, and you're going to be a tournament team again, obviously. And if Bama goes on to win, say, the SEC tournament, and they've won over close to 25 games again, that's why I kind of brought Nate Oates up into this, because when you replace talent like this, you deserve some recognition for it. Now, like you said, though, Jeffrey, you got your Fred Hoibergs, you got your Travis Steeles. I mean, Johnny Dawkins from Central Florida. I mean, a phenomenal job. He replaced everybody on his roster. But like you said, though, like we could give it to John Shire, like you said, the
Tech guy deserves a lot of praise. The Tech guy, Texas Tech,
Grant McCaslin.
I mean, like these guys are not getting enough attention. I mean, incredible jobs being done all across. I mean, even Otzelberger at Iowa State. Otzelberger at Iowa State has been very good for years at a school that was. I know they've had success in the past, but like that coach that they had before at Steve Prom or whatever the heck his name was, that guy had a really good start to his tenure. His last year, they won 2 games. They look dead. They look like that's why Indiana fans crap me up because like, oh my gosh, we just can't win. Yeah, I don't know why Indiana can't win because Iowa State went from a 2-win team to now they're making Elite Eights and stuff. And Michigan with Dusty May was 8-24, and Michigan's where Michigan is. It's not impossible. Signetti took a 2-3-win team and did what he just did. So it's Vrabel, yes, like it can be done.
I will say this too, to add to that is like, and I think people get that confused. I'm glad you brought this up because I know when we have these debates, right, of who's the best coach, who's the, and they say this is who it belongs to. This is, and I'm glad that you clarified that, Jeffrey. That when people think coach of the year, they think the best team, right? They think, oh, because Kurt Signetti won, oh, they're deeming he had the best team. No, it's who did the best coaching job. Like you said, Jeffrey, like a lot of people seem to forget it's not always about the best team. It's about the best coaching job. Like, did Indiana have the best team last year? Not by a long mile. Did Indiana have the best team this year? I mean, a lot of people would still say it's Ohio State, and then it's Georgia, and then it's kind of everybody else. But Indiana won the whole thing. So for me, yes, they're the best team. They won the national championship. But like you said, though, Jeffrey, like we could give it to, like you said, like Kirby could win it every year. It's kind of like Kansas. You can give it to Bill Self or John Calipari every year because they always do incredible coaching jobs. Todd Golden, Jeffrey. Florida looked dead there for a while. Now they've come back alive, and a lot of people are picking them to win the whole thing again. I mean, it's just incredible. And I say this on a closing.
I will honestly, whoever they give the Coach of the Year award to is probably going to be wrong. And even if I think it's right, it's going to be wrong in the eyes of 90% of the public. There's no right answer is basically what I'm trying to say. No one's going to agree with it. I'm probably not going to agree with it. You know, like who can you give it to? I mean, we've already listed like 8 people, and all 8 of them, besides Nate Oates, all 8 of them have a legitimate case. Shire, Lloyd, May, McCaslin, Dawkins, Miami, Ohio guy, Travis Steele. You know, the other one that's slipping my Fred Hoiberg. I mean, on and on. All of them have a case. Every single one of them. You got to give somebody, and you know, again, whoever it's going to be. I mean, even Virginia, Ryan Odom.
They're back.
Really good at Virginia. Virginia was just dead. Miami guy, Jai Lucas, Miami was really bad. I mean, again, I can go on and on and on. Coach of the Year in college basketball is not as substantially significant as it is in college football. There's more teams for one. You know, but in number 2, Signetti's just a complete outlier because 99% of the coaches that win Coach of the Year in football are towards the top. They're one of the best teams. They try to combine that element of, okay, you know, the team's good, but maybe they outperform expectations a bit. But what Signetti did is an outlier. It is an outlier, and it probably will always be an outlier. And you're going to have articles written for 15 years from now still saying who's going to be the next Signetti in Indiana. It's not going to happen, guys. It's not going to happen. So just whatever. But Basketball, there's more teams. There's more great teams, and there's a lot of up and coming young coaches right now who are doing very well since the old guard is going away. You've no more Jay Wright, no more Roy Williams and Coach K and all that. They're gone. So you got all these new guys. You got Todd Golden's young, Shire's young. Lloyd's not young-ish, but he's new to coaching still. Like, there's just a lot of new faces. There's a lot of new names. There's a lot of up-and-coming programs that are having a lot of success. This is a weird year. You've got a lot of teams at the top that are elite with coaches like Hurley that probably have a great case to earn it, and Shire and May and all that. But then you've got the surprise teams like Tech and Nebraska and Miami and Virginia. And you go Vanderbilt. No one talks about Vanderbilt. Byington, Vanderbilt, good, fantastic, amazing. He's not going to win it, though, because Coach of the Year doesn't matter. Whoever wins Coach of the Year is going to be wrong, because you can make an argument for about 12 of these people. It may be 15 of them that they can win it for what they've done versus what the team was before, what they are now. You can make a case for it.
Austin, any other questions you got for us for tonight?
Not a question, comment. This is more towards you, Jackson. Can we take the label off Virginia that they're the Iowa basketball? Can we take that off them now? Have they earned that since they could score over 70 consistently, or not yet?
Are they going to be winning in March Madness with Ryan Odom? That's going to be my question.
Okay.
I think also is more so referring to their style of play being different now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They're not the Iowa basketball anymore.
That's what he was referring to, because but they were completely boring. Now they can actually play somewhat.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I thought I'd ask that, since Jackson always would be like, "Oh, they're the Iowa of college basketball. Who wants to watch Virginia?" But anywho, roll Tide, fellas. Roll Cards. Roll Tar Heels for you, Jeffrey, and roll Hoosiers. As always, take care, fellas. Have a wonderful night or a wonderful morning if you're out there somewhere in the outside of America. Wonderful morning to all the Crimson Tide fans as well. March Madness is close. We're almost there. Thank you all as always. And Jeffrey, sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite. You too, Jack.
Appreciate it, Austin. Man. Always a great conversation, chat with Austin. I mean, like, the Coach of the Year thing again, like I said, last thing on it is there's no right answer. I'm not trying to be like facetious when I say it's wrong, because maybe who they pick, you can make all the arguments in the world for why they deserve it, but trust me, and everybody knows this year in college basketball, you can make an argument for so many coaching jobs this year. There's been a lot of them that have been very good, more than we have. There's still more that I haven't said. I mean, before their late season slide, Will Wade was doing good at NC State. He was doing very good early. I mean, Kelsey's doing good at Louisville. It's not as surprising or shocking as some of these other ones, but there's a lot of good coaching jobs this year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm liking what Still has brought with Miami, Ohio. He's doing a lot better over there than he did at Xavier. I mean, I think honestly he should just kind of chill at Miami, Ohio, and just kind of like build a legacy over there.
Yeah, Xavier's just, I don't know. Xavier's a weird situation, because like Xavier used to be very competitive. They had a lot. They weren't Butler, but they had success. Like they had their moments, but yeah, they're not very good.
Yeah, I think like Butler at this point is basically like another. They're just like always below everybody nowadays. It's
the bottom of the Big East right now is bad. Like that conference is weak, and honestly, I think that actually helps Connecticut.
Man, DePaul has a winning record. Like
I think that helps Connecticut.
Oh my god!
You think about it, Jackson. Like the Big Ten team, like Michigan, and then Florida, and some of these other teams, Arizona, they're going through tough schedules day in and day out. Whereas UConn's getting to beat up on DePaul, who has a winning record, and Providence, and Georgetown, and Creighton. It's a shame Creighton's bad this year. Like that's the thing. I think that might help UConn, because they haven't really had to play that much in conference. They had a better conference schedule than Gonzaga, but not by a lot. The Big East is terrible. Outside of St. John's, UConn, Villanova, and Seton Hall at the very fringes of existence, the rest of that league is garbage.
Man.
Absolute garbage. Like they're not competitive. They're not good. They're not fun to watch. None of those teams are good. I mean, Ed Cooley's finding it really bad at Georgetown. They can't. Georgetown and Syracuse right now are dead. Both of them. Like Indiana is dead, but they're not dead like Georgetown and Syracuse. Like at least Indiana still has like a slight pulse. They're not good, but Georgetown is like I feel bad for Georgetown and Syracuse fans because they're just horrible. They're both like really bad. Like Georgetown. They thought when they got Cooley that they were going to be good, and they're not.
Oh man, I mean, Kevin Wallett's SB Nation Syracuse site who joined Mark the other day. I don't know if he's feeling too happy about Syracuse at the moment. Neither is Jackson Holzer at Locked On Syracuse.
Dude, when I was a kid, man, Syracuse was good. You know what I'm saying? Like when they had CJ Fair and Christmas and all those guys in the early 2010s, those guys were good, man. I mean, and every time they played Duke, it was a classic every year. I mean, it was, I don't know, man. They're just Georgetown. When I was young, Georgetown was still good. Georgetown was at the very end of their good era when I was young. Like the first 4 years that I really watched March Madness, they were good, and then they just disappeared off the face of the earth.
You know, I'm hoping if Syracuse decides they're going to go look for a new coach, I mean, they might as well get Jerry McNamara. Like, I mean, he bailed him out once in 06 in that 06 Big East tournament. He could bail him out again. Who knows? But I don't know.
It's all about funding, though, too, man. I mean, I don't think Syracuse is really doing a whole lot in the NIL space. I mean, if you're not competing in the NIL space, you're not competing. It's a shame because, and I try, like, everybody thinks like I'm anti-NIL. I'm not anti-NIL. It's just how it is being just conducted everywhere. How it's being operated is my problem. It's bad, but I'm not against NIL. Just how it's being done, and in programs that don't have it aren't winning, and Syracuse doesn't have it. I mean, I don't know. If they got just Rick Pitino, just or something like that, like a big name coach who wins. I don't know if it matters. I mean, maybe you could say, well, they get that big time coach, and then the NIL is going to come because then the donors are going to want to pay. There's just Syracuse has they play their basketball games in their football stadium. They have 20,000 plus available seats for their games, and they used to fill that crap. I remember when I was a kid, that used to be full, and it used to be loud in that place. Now it's just dead. Like, it's horrible. It's like watching UNLV football. You know what I'm saying? Like, they got that big stadium, Allegiant Stadium, and it's empty. Or watching UFL games at Ford Field. That's why they got rid of the Michigan Panthers, because of Ford Field. Like, the stadium was completely empty. Well, St. John's doesn't have big NIL, but I don't know, man. Maybe if that's the case, maybe Pitino could do good at Cuse. I don't know. Cuse is dead. They're horrible. I mean, Autry and who's the guy they got now?
Oh, they got Adrian Autry as their head coach.
He's still their coach. He hasn't been fired yet.
No, it's his third year.
Oh, Adrian Autry. I was like Autry. I thought Autry and the new guy. Well, they haven't even gotten a new guy. Well, Autry is still there. Well, he's going to get fired. But the thing is that Autry is not winning. And I mean, you can say, oh, he's bad. And if they got somebody good, I don't know, man. I don't know. I really don't. I can't say. I mean, because if Pitino is not, if Pitino's winning with not a lot of NIL, then maybe he could add a Cuse. Maybe Cuse just needs to hire a good coach. I don't know. I think when you have NIL limitations, though, it makes your probability and likelihood of being good a lot less. Like, clearly Dusty May can coach. Clearly he's a good coach. But Michigan also has incredible NIL. That can't hurt. So.
Yeah, and like Boeheim's just kind of like, you know, at a beach somewhere, you know, playing Margaritaville, just like having his little drink. You know, he just spend time with his wife and spend time with his grandkids. He is glad not to be in the spotlight anymore. He's having fun.
I don't blame him, dude. I mean, he's up there in age. I mean, he needs to enjoy.
He's the last one of the original Big East. Like that, like he's like the last coach that actively coached in the original Big East I think is still alive.
Wow.
Yeah. Like, I'm just kind of like letting that sink in.
It definitely puts time into perspective.
Like, he coached Syracuse when they were an independent. He coached them during their whole era of the original Big East, and he coached them in like the first decade, I guess, of the ACC. Like, wow. And ironically, he retired after Coach K, and I think after Roy Williams, and was gone after like Rick Pitino, which, I mean, like, you would think it would be like Pitino's stay, but I mean, we won't go into all that. But like, it was just like Boeheim outlasted Coach K and Roy Williams. Like,
it's funny to me that Syracuse fans, I remember at the very tail end of Boeheim's long, decorated career, that they wanted him fired so bad. And that's fair because
like
they were bad. But did it work? No. So
it's like Boeheim, like the last of the OGs at the original Big East, and being like the last of like the Big Four coaches in the ACC from like 2014 to 2017. Like that was the last one to retire, and just like still standing amongst the original Big East. It's like Frank Sheeran of The Irishman, where it's like all the mob friends and associates. You know, like he's the last one living. Like he's the last one available. He's the last one there. They're all gone.
I mean, you think about the Big East, every single one of those teams have rotated coaches so many times since that time. Like the longest tenured one now is McDermott.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying he's on the hot seat, but gotta start winning. So, I mean, it's like DePaul's gone through more coaches than anything. I mean, I can't even remember half the dudes that have been there.
Oh man, I think Holtman's their current.
Yeah, Holtman's the guy now, but they had other people. Yeah, I can't even remember any of them, but they didn't win, so they got fired. I remember Max Strus was at DePaul. And they tried to get to 500. Now they're over 500.
Yeah, DePaul's so bad. They don't have a Locked On DePaul. They don't have a DePaul Voice College Basketball channel.
Yeah, I'm about to say, like, they have a Voice of College Football DePaul. Oh, wait, they don't have a football team. All right, we can't provide that for you, folks. They got to get a football team, but first they got to make sure the basketball team is not garbage, which they have failed to do.
Man. Oh, man. Locked On DePaul. I know, like, a good buddy Mark Zanetto has like a Big East Energy channel, but it's like I'm not sure if he's got like a DePaul guy, but if he does, that's awesome.
Hey, right now, like the energy around the Big East is not great. You know, it's a 3-bid league, one bubble team fighting for air, and then the rest is just garbage. There's no intrigue. Like the WCC is more interesting right now.
Yeah.
Because at least like you've got Gonzaga and then St. Mary's and then Santa Clara and then Bid Steelers, possibly, like the Big East. I mean, if there's a bid stealer out of the Big East, that would just be crazy. There's no way because UConn or St. John's has got to have that thing locked down.
Yeah, that's why it's like if the bubble watch is kind of crappy this year, that makes me feel like we're going to see a Cinderella run from somebody in a conference tournament somewhere.
Yeah, and there's probably going to be, a bid stealer or two. There probably will be. So if you're a bubble team, win because, if you don't win, and then you're relying on, well, I'm in the bubble. I'm in the field right now, according to Lenardi and all the bracketologists. Well, guess what? You're not going to be in the field after bid stealers because there's always going to be a bid stealer or two. I mean, the A-10 is probable. I mean, think about it. Like, St. Louis has been fading, but if St. Louis loses, they're going to make the field still. VCU is the worst case scenario for bid stealers is if St. Louis loses. VCU makes it all the way to the final game and loses. And then you've got like George Mason or something winning the league, or Dayton, the A-10 tournament. Then you could have 3 teams from that league. So bid stealers could happen. Miami, Ohio loses, and then there's a bid steal like Akron or something, or Toledo. So it's interesting. I don't know. I think that definitely, if you're a bubble team, watch out for these conferences like the MAC and the A-10 and the WCC, because there's going to be some madness. It's going to be. I don't think the Big East will, because all the teams at the bottom are just so inferior to UConn and St. John's. So there should not be there should be a Georgetown, like that year that Georgetown won the Big East, or that year Oregon State won the Pac-12 and neither team was supposed to make the field, or that NC State team that did it in the ACC with DJ Burns. It was cool. That Michigander says is now going to be the only Cinderellas are like NC State, which I hope that's not the case, but he could be right.
Yeah. So. And of course, you can give us a listen on Alabama Crimson Tide Live on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, and iHeartRadio. From yours truly, Jackson Johnson, Jeffrey Only Talk Sports, and Travion Ware, as we all go over our takes on the Alabama Crimson Tide. All right there. Even if you're not able to watch us live on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, you can always give us a listen on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, Amazon, especially if you're running an errand. All right there. You can check us out all right there. And of course, you can check us out on X at the Voice of College Football X account, where you can get top-notch discussion, debate, and analysis with no off season. And it's only several more days until kickoff. Now, let's see now. We've got days until September 5th. Now, we know daylight savings time ends, so we're moving up an hour on Sunday. But we've got 177 days until week 0. We've got that. 177 days until week 0. And before we get on out here, Jeffrey, what magic have you got cooking on Only Talk Sports?
Well, I did the highly requested live stream for Gonzaga St. Mary's, and that was a ton of fun. Steve, I did the live stream. I didn't see you in the chat, but I did the live stream for Gonzaga St. Mary's. So I hope that you were able to catch some of that. If not, it's all good. But I appreciate you requesting for me to do it, because I haven't done a basketball stream in so long, and it was a lot of fun. It just takes a lot, time and stuff like that, and lack of time, it is what it is. But I was able to do it, and it was great. I did a stream with Will recently, talking, bracketology stuff and NFL Combine and other things. So that was a ton of fun too. But no guarantees that I'll do another stream this weekend. But if I could try to fit one in, I will try. But we'll see. I definitely, because I know Caden's probably not here still, but I did reach the goal last week. And I said if I reach the goal, I'd do another play-by-play. So I will do another play-by-play live reaction before the season is over, whether it's conference tournament, whether it's this weekend, whether it's in March Madness itself. But stay tuned for a basketball live reaction of some kind, because I will honor that.
One question to that question, Steve. Are you talking to me and Jeffrey, or is it like me, Jeffrey, Will, and Austin is the question?
I'm not sure. It'd be great to do a bracketology show. The only issue for me is like when the bracketology is going on, I might not be available to do like one right then and there. But like that night, maybe like after it's said and done. But yeah, definitely. I'm gonna try to do a bracketology show. I don't know how that's gonna be done or who's gonna be involved or what, but that's definitely a possibility when it gets there. Maybe look for Sunday night or Monday night. That time frame. I'll try to fit something in.
Well, the Selection Sunday thing for is coming, so it's like. Maybe we could do something like that on Sunday, but Steve, we will keep you updated. But of course, check out Jeffrey at Only Talk Sports, where he talks sports every single day, or at least he tries to, especially on the live play-by-play of Gonzaga St. Mary's and the Trinidad Chambliss accepted, Joey Aguilar rejected Combine, where he went over all of that with Will and D. All right there. Tune in for more. And, of course, you can check me out on Jackson Johnson 979, where I've got some upcoming episodes of the Jackson coming up. Still kind of figuring out my plans for the rest of March on that end, of course. But you'll also check me out, not just here on Alabama at the Voice of College Football, but on SEC at the Voice of College Football, Mondays and Wednesdays. And, not just that, but weekly appearances on Locked On West Virginia with Mountaineer Paul. And for more updates, what I've got going on the Jackson Alabama at the Voice of College Football, SEC at the Voice of College Football, or my weekly hangouts with Mountaineer Paul, Locked On West Virginia. Check me out, Jackson BOCFB on @/Twitter and on Instagram threads, Jackson Johnson 543908. And with that being said, like, comment, subscribe, click on the notification bell so you never miss no video whatsoever. And we will see y'all soon. And roll
Tide.
Good night, folks.